Christophe Girard is the deputy mayor of Paris in charge of culture. He joins us by phone. Christophe, thank you so much for being with us on what must be a devastating evening for all of Paris. Can you please put this tragedy into some perspective for us?
Well, it's 10 p.m. in Paris, and, it started exactly 3 hours ago. So very long 3 hours. And of course, it's a tragedy, but not only for Paris. It's a tragedy for the world, because Notre Dame, so well described by Victor Hugo, is actually a jewel belonging to everyone on this planet. So we feel, and our mayor receiving so many messages from all around the world, from many mayors from America, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia. Everybody's just so concerned, so sad. But, our main concern right now is, of course, to let the fire forces, be able to stop and contain the fire, and that the people who live around, because there are many people who live around. We have the hospital Hotel Dieu, we have administrations, we have families, and we have to take care of them and make sure they will be able to sleep home or somewhere tonight. So we are begging, actually, tourists and Parisians not to be too close, to make the snapshot of their life, because the danger still exists, and we have to let the fire forces and the police department work in good conditions.
Yeah.
And, of course, we are in a crisis condition now, and at the City Hall, and from the City Hall, since 7 p.m., we could watch the progression of the fire, of the flames, and the cathedral, falling apart. Oh. So you can imagine just such a tragedy.
Heartbreaking. And Christophe, do we know at this point how the fire started?
Well, no, it's too early to actually say what happened. But what we know, and discussing with the bishop early tonight, what was said was there is construction work going on, but it's absolutely too early to know. So we have to let the police and the firemen do their work, and it's absolutely too early. Everything has to be put in question and be conditional.
And again, it's probably too early to answer my next question, but do you have any sense whether any of the artwork or artifacts inside have been saved?
Well, the Ministry of Culture and our services and the Louvre department have been cooperating to make sure that everything that can be saved and moved has been moved. We have been sending trucks from the City Department of Transportation, and the collaboration between the state and between the City of Paris is very, very close and very tight tonight.
Sure.
So things are being under control.
So some things have been taken out of the church then? Some things have been rescued?
Yes. Some paintings, and yes, there have been elements, being taken away, because when it started at the roof. So there was, the reaction of the bishop team and I would say the administration, of course, to react,
yes,
to protect, the values they could take out. So they did.
Well, that's good to hear, because we didn't know whether anything at all had been saved from the church. So that is wonderful to hear that at least some things. Yeah.
There are many things being saved and transported by our services and the state services.
And then what is the latest that you were hearing from the Paris Fire Brigade about the status of the fire? Have they been able to put any timeline on it, or is that also an unknown at this point?
It's absolutely unknown, and we have to be extremely careful in words.
Of course, of course. Now, this cathedral is not only iconic to Paris, it is iconic to the world. 12 million tourists come every year to come and visit the cathedral. What sort of impact to tourism can you imagine this fire will have to Paris and to France?
Well, the feeling I have, there will be a lot of solidarity, because the cathedral actually belongs to the world. And we have been receiving through social networks already some proposals of supporting, and it's very moving, because everybody feels like it's their own.
Yes.
And the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, and the President Macron, they were together there, and I think they want to join the efforts. And actually, we will ask, I'm sure, for an international campaign to support, the repair. Because what we have to have in mind, once the fire is over, once we are sure every citizen, every Parisian is safe, and every tourist is safe, that Paris has always rebuilt whatever has been destroyed by people or by fire or by accident. So the future will be with us, and Notre Dame will live.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. So plans are sort of already underway to rebuild the cathedral. Then are there very specific, notes and plans that still exist that would allow the cathedral to be more or less reconstructed as it once stood?
The wonderful historians, architects, and specialists of landmark treasures, and they will, of course, meet and exchange, and I'm sure, within the coming weeks, we will absolutely restart, and there will be a very positive attitude to save this beloved, jewel of the world. And thank you so much for actually, being able to support this through the waves and through radio and the media.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the world will be supporting your rebuilding efforts. Can you talk a little bit about the impact on the Catholic community that this fire will have, especially since we are in the middle of Holy Week?
Well, you're right. It's Easter holiday, and the Catholic community is, of course, very attached to Notre Dame Cathedral. Catholics come from all around the world to visit Notre Dame and to pray. So tonight, the message also of our mayor, Mrs. Hidalgo, was to be close to the community, the Catholic community, as she went right away to be with the bishop, Monseigneur Chauvet, to be with him. He was, when I had him on the phone, he was crying, and like a child and like a person lost, seeing his cathedral, like you said, was in fire. He said it's just not believable. So, of course, our thoughts go to our Catholic friends.
Of course. And Christophe, do you think that the Yellow Vest protests will pause this weekend? Well,
it's always difficult in a democracy, to make connection between demonstration. President Macron was supposed to speak tonight on television, and he had to cancel. So there will be a national, of course, moment, with Paris and with the nations in Europe, I hope, to actually pay tribute and be maybe a bit silent, with this big tragedy. But it's very hard to say because, social democracy is always alive.
Of course, of course. Can you speak to us a bit about the efforts of the firefighters? I know that they have to be particularly careful. Not only, are they trying to put out this terrible fire, but they're trying to do as little damage to the structure and the artifacts inside as they do it. Are there particular methods that they are using?
Well, as you know, we have been through sometimes sad experiences. And in the past, with what happened at the Bataclan and what happened at, in different situations. So the firemen we have, they are extremely competent, and our heroes, the way they're so professional and the way they actually got organized under the authority of our general of the firemen, is just, could you excuse me 1 second? Sorry.
No problem. You are the deputy mayor of Paris. This is a very busy night for you. We definitely appreciate your time. Christophe, we're going to let you go because we know you have a lot of things to do this evening.
I'm sorry, I had to react because I'm actually, out of the crisis office, and I was outside, and there were some people moving next to me. So.
Oh, of course. Well, then, if you have a moment, I just have one last question for you. We understand that the Ile de la Cité.
Sure, no, go ahead.
We understand that the Ile de la Cité has been totally evacuated. How many more or less residents live on the Ile de la Cité, and where will they be staying this evening?
Well, we have decided with Mayor Hidalgo to open local city halls and sports facilities in case, they would like not to stay home, or if they're not able to join their houses. It's a question of about, 1,000, 2,000 people concerned. But also we have contacted the hotels around Ile de la Cité and Ile Saint-Louis and the center of Paris. So I think everybody is actually cooperating. So there will be a roof and a bed for everyone tonight.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And finally, I have a question. We understand that the Parisian prosecutors are also looking into the fire. Do you have a sense that there could be some charges brought against someone or any entity?
As always, when you have such a huge tragedy and such a big fire on the landmark monument, of course, all questions are being asked. So we have to let, especially when there is some construction work going on. So we have absolutely to let the police and the scientific police work to find the elements. But we need time.
Of course. Now, I know that we don't yet know how the fire started, but do firefighters know where in the church the fire originated?
It started from what we saw because we were in the meeting. When it started in the roof.
In the roof. And that is near...
That's where we saw.
And that is near scaffolding.
Where it looks like where the statues were taken down. Because last week I was with the bishop when the day they were taking the statues down, from the roof. So it looks like it started there. But, I don't know really precisely.
Of course, the investigation continues. Well, Christophe Girard, we appreciate your time so much. We know that this is a devastating evening for you and for all of Paris, but the world is with you. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for doing this interview. It's very important because, we love all English-speaking people to come a lot.
Oh, yes.
And, we don't like Brexit. We don't like Brexit too much.
Well, we're here in America, so it doesn't really affect us one way or the other.
I know, but, English citizens are our cousins, too.
Absolutely.
I know we're in America.
No, I know.
Great America.
I'm teasing you. And, so many people have visited, obviously, Notre Dame. And I have to say, on a personal note, I was engaged in that beautiful church. So it means something to me personally very much as well.
Oh, my God. So, yes, of course. Well, yes. We would build it for you.
Yeah. Well, for the world. Christophe Girard, we thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, and good night, America.